Recording in progress.
Good evening. Sorry for the late start. Welcome to the Advisory and Finance Committee meeting being held in the Great Hall at Town Hall in the town of Plymouth. This meeting is likely to be conducted in a hybrid format with some participants attending physically and others attending virtually via a video conference application. There are several ways to watch. This meeting will be airing on Comcast 9, Verizon Channel 47, and on the local scene streaming channel on YouTube, www.youtube.com/@PlymouthMeetingSLS. Any speaker giving public comment is allotted up to 5 minutes in which to speak. Public comment can be made at the beginning or end of each meeting or in regard to a particular agenda item the speaker wishes to be heard on. The Zoom login information is as follows. Download the Zoom meeting application on your device, press or click on Join, then enter meeting ID 995-2986-0638, and then the meeting password 100131, or join via the website, which requires a microphone. Again, www.zoom.us. Click Join a Meeting on the top right-hand side and enter the meeting ID 995-2986-0638 and the meeting password of 100131. Or you can join via telephone, which will be voice only. Dial 929-205-6099. Enter the meeting ID 995-2986-0638 and the meeting password of 10031. So again, good evening. We'll begin with the roll call. Ms. Butler, are you here?
I am here.
Mr. Dunn?
Here.
Mr. Jacinto?
Here.
Ms. Keating?
Here.
I'm here. Mr. Malaguti?
Here.
Ms. O'Connor?
Here.
Mr. Pizarro?
Here.
Mr. Ramey?
Here.
Mr. Renaud?
Here.
Ms. Richards?
Here.
Mr. Snyder?
Present.
Ms. Tompkins?
Here.
Mr. Trudell?
Here.
Mr. Vecchi? Here. All right, we have 15 all members present tonight. Thank you. So this is the first opportunity for public comment at this evening's meeting. Is there anyone remotely or in the audience that would like to make a public comment? Seeing and hearing none, we'll begin with the first agenda item, which is to review Article 16. And Article 16 is to see if the town will vote to appropriate $900,000 from the community preservation available funds, reserve funds, or fund balance, or any other available fund, and or borrow for the creation and or restoration and rehabilitation of land for open space and recreational use pursuant to the Community Preservation Act, creating Dark Orchard All Persons Trail on underdeveloped town-owned land commonly known as Jenny Pond and Townbrook Park and Townbrook, as shown on the Assessor's Map 18, Lot 43, Map 21, Lot 78, Map 18, Lot 40A, to grant the Department of Energy and Environment for the purposes of creating improvements and enhancements to trails, and further, that said land be held under the care, custody, and control of the Conservation Commission, based on the recommendation of the Community Preservation Committee pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 44, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, the Select Board is authorized to grant conservation restriction in said property in accordance with the General Law C 44B, Section 12, meeting the requirements of General Law C 184, Sections 31 through 33, and further, that the town officials are authorized to enter into all agreements and execute any and all instruments as may be necessary on behalf of the town to effect said construction and related projects or take any other action relative thereto. Good evening, Mr. Bradley, Chair of the Conservation Preservation Commission.
Good evening, and thank you. Ed Bradley, Chair of the Community Preservation Committee. The first article above for you tonight is Article 16, which is an open space and recreation article for the Dark Orchards All Persons Trail. This was voted by our committee unanimously, 8 in favor and no abstentions and nobody against, to send to fall town meeting. And this is for the appropriation of $900,000 for the creation of an ADA accessible trails within the undeveloped portion of land within Jenny Park for those who cannot physically access Plymouth natural resources safely due to inaccessibility of traditional walking and hiking trails. The funding for this article is $500,000 from CPA available funds, $300,000 from the Environmental Affairs Fund, and $100,000 from a Mass Trails grant. The vote is contingent upon the town receiving the grant from the state to reimburse the cost. This will be the town's first publicly, universally accessible nature trail. And David Gould and Nate are here. If you have any specific questions that I can't answer, we certainly can make sure that we get those answers for you.
Any questions from the committee on this article? Yes, Mr. Snyder.
Hi, I love the idea of this. Just have a few questions in terms of what's going to happen here. First of all, have the police department approved this? Do they, because they're going to have to patrol the area, have they responded to that?
David, I know you've been through some internal meetings.
David Gould, Director of Energy and Environment. So we don't typically get police approval for a project that's already existing on public land. So this land is already owned by the town of Plymouth. It's already part of Jenny Park. There are already some really rough trails already going through that area. So we did not find a need to ask for a specific permission to put this trail system in.
Okay, while you're up there, is there plans to allow dogs on this trail or not dogs?
So all of our conservation properties do allow for dogs.
Okay, and in terms of trash, will there be barrels around and who will be emptying them?
So there are barrels in the existing park. We don't typically put, well, we don't put trash barrels on conservation land. As far as litter goes, that's something that our staff will go through and pick up litter. We do that on all of our properties currently.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Mr. Renaud.
How's it going? Just curious on, once the project's complete, is there going to be annual maintenance costs, upkeep, things like that, and who's going to be responsible for it?
The David's division of the environmental and energy is responsible for and Nate Christopher can answer that specific question for you.
Sure. Hi, Nate Christopher with Division Natural Resources. We're expecting to just absorb the annual maintenance fees for maintaining this trail, just like all the other trails. We do have $5,000 built in around year 5. We're expecting that at some point there'll probably be a storm that washes part of the trail out, so we're building a little bit of funding in there in subsequent years to be able to go back, resurface if needed. But the annual maintenance we'll take care of in-house.
Do the plans account for emergency access? So not really police patrol, but if something were to happen, access?
So the way that the trail is designed, the walking width is 60 inches, which is about 5 feet. So we can get like a UTV in there. So if there was an issue, because it's 60-inch walking width throughout, a UTV and I know like Brewster and the fire department have those, they could access that as an emergency if needed.
Great, thanks.
All right, Mr. Vecchi?
This is for Ed. So what is the, because I don't have it in front of me, I'm trying to find it, but what is the available funds within the CPC? How much CPC funds do we have currently?
All of these projects I'm going to bring you to tonight are going to be from available funds. This particular $500,000 is going to be paid out of our budgeted reserve.
Out of the CPC budget and reserve?
Yes.
All right, what is the current balance of the CPC itself? I know we've spent a lot of CPC money lately.
We have, yes. Right now, well, the remaining balances, if all of these articles were approved at town meeting, the remaining balances for community housing, there would be $74,008 left. Reserve for historic resources, there would be $247,796.21. The budgeted reserve for any purpose we will be empty for this fiscal year. And the undesignated fund balance would be $555,461.98, for a total of $877,266.19.
All right, so the current balance before these articles is what was my question.
Right now, before we take anything out, $1,656,290.92.
Okay, so all of these things that if approved, will pretty much bottom out our CPC or close to it.
Well, there'll be $877,000 left in this year's, but, from this year's allotment.
All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Mr. Malaguti?
Thank you. I'm very supportive of this project, but I do just have one question that was just brought up recently in a comment. So the maintenance for this, it was stated that there was $5,000 budgeted in the near future for if parts of it get washed out. Can you emphasize on washing out? Because I thought a lot of this was more elevated in a way due to making it the sort of gradient level that's needed for an all-accessible trail.
Sure. So the way the trail is designed is to meet ADA requirements for grade. It's not going to be a paved trail. It's going to be like a recycled asphalt, like dense grade that meets the ADA accessibility standard. So it's going to be a pervious surface that will allow water infiltration. Because of the way this trail is situated, if you're familiar with that area, it's like a bowl back there. It's basically a hill on three sides. So during any large rain event, you're going to have sort of sheet runoff coming down the slope. And as it comes down across the slope and then over the walking trail, over time, we just are assuming that there will be some sort of weather event that's going to cause rilling and will make that trail, less accessible. It wouldn't meet the ADA standard if there's like rilling going through. So we'll go back in with the same surface material, go back, fill it, pack it, and resurface it. So that's what I mean by it washing out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's going to be more of a recycled asphalt or something that's going to be permeous, but also stabilized, not like stone dust, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I just wanted to clarify, because we had that in the past with another trail, and we saw the detrimental effects of lack of maintenance on it, so that's why I wanted to make sure of that. Thank you.
Right. So it is designed so, the down slope grade, so if we're looking at a cross slope of the hill and it comes down and it's level for the trail, the down slope side is going to be at a grade that's pushing backwards. So it's not going to just like edge. It'll be sloped, so we're holding that grade back.
Great, thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, well then we'll move into committee any public comment on this article? Seeing none in person, seeing none remotely, then we'll move into discussion. Is there anything the committee would like to say before we perhaps take a vote? Yes, Ms. Richards.
Looking at the plans and your whole presentation, that you've presented to us. It looks like a really great idea and a great proposal. You know, the braille, the road, the rope, guide looks fantastic, and I'm really excited about this project for all of our disabled citizens. So I think it's a great idea.
Anyone else? All right. Yes, Ms. Tompkins.
I think this is a great addition to our, main tourist area as well, for people who are visiting, regardless of their abilities. So I think it's another great tourist attraction for us.
All right. Anyone else? Mr. Snyder, would you care to move Article 16?
I would move for the passage of Article 16.
All right. Ms. Tompkins, would you care to second?
Seconded.
All right. Is there any discussion? All right. Then, in that order, Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renaud?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
It's unanimous, 14 for yes, 0 no, 0 abstentions. Thank you. All right, we're moving on to Article 17, which I need to find here. Where's Article 17? Article 17 is open space and recreation, Gilmore land acquisition. I'm searching for the language right now, so just give me a moment for the article to read. Article 17, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to acquire by purchase, gift, eminent domain or otherwise for open space and recreational purposes pursuant to General Law C-44B and to accept a deed to the town of Plymouth or a fee simple interest of land located off of Bogside Drive, Highview Road, Acorn Trail, Hollis Road, Edgewater Drive, and Beaver Dam Road in the town of Plymouth, comprised of 20.8 acres, more or less, shown on Assessor's Map 75, lots 9-21, 9-30, 9-31, 9-32, 9-33, 9-34, 9-35, 9-36, 9-37, 9-38, 39, 40, and 9-44. Further, that said land be held under the care, custody, and control of the Conservation Commission, and as funding, therefore, to appropriate $729,290.92 for the acquisition and other costs associated therewith from the Community Preservation Fund, fund balance reserves, and/or borrow or otherwise fund the said total sum pursuant to General Law C-44B, paragraph 11, GLC 44, Chapter 7, or any other enabling authority, provided, however, that such borrowing authority shall be reduced by the amount of any grants received by the town prior to such borrowing, and further to authorize the Board of Selectmen to grant a conservation restriction in said property in accordance with General Law C-44B, Chapter 12, meeting the requirements of GLC 184, 31 through 33, and to authorize appropriate town officials to enter into all agreements and execute any and all instruments as may be necessary on behalf of the town to effect said purchase or take any other action relative thereto. Mr. Bradley?
Thank you. Article 17 is another open space recreation project, the Gilmore land purchase. Our committee voted unanimously, 8 in favor, no abstentions, and no one opposed, to send this to fall to annual town meeting. And this is for the purpose of purchasing 13 parcels of land totaling 20.8 acres to benefit the town in 3 specific ways: provide open space, remove the land from the present practices, and ecosystem benefits resulting from the major change in land use. Purchasing this land will result in connectivity to the abutting tracts of open space town-owned Beaver Dam Conservation Area and the nonprofit Mass Audubon-owned Tidmarsh Wildlife Sanctuary. Parking is already established, as well as trails to Little Island Pond. The vote is contingent upon the town receiving $448,000 in grant reimbursements. In the budget breakdown sheet you also got in your packet, so the CPC money, we will allow $281,290.92. The rest is, as you see in the budget breakdown.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Any questions for Mr. Bradley from the committee? Yes, Ms. Butler.
Do we know when you will find out about the grant money?
That is an excellent question. We had a site visit with the state a little over a month ago, and their advice to us was that we would certainly hear by our fall town meeting date in October. So I would suspect any time between now and the next few weeks, we will hear back.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Richards.
Before you go, Mr. Gould,
I'm not going anywhere.
has there been any testing of any of the water, the soil of the cranberry bog area? The reason I ask is
yeah.
they use a lot of chemicals, pesticides, so forth. I'm just, before we buy something that has, that is contaminated, I'm just wondering if we've done our due diligence and done some testing.
So we don't typically do testing of cranberry bogs because the main factor that you would find in the soils would be what they've applied to the bog. So under Massachusetts law, anything that's been applied for agricultural purposes in accordance with the label is legal. We've certainly acquired several, as you know, cranberry bog properties, Eel River, Foothills, Pinnacle. So when we go through the permitting process to restore those, we have to go through that entire permit process with DEP. So whether or not we keep soils on site or we have to haul them off, which we haven't had to do yet, we go through that entire permitting process then. But again, typically DEP works with us because they understand that these sites were agricultural. So we haven't had that. We know there are no underground storage tanks on the site. We do know that. And then if we...
I know we've got the pump house demolition.
Yeah, so this is just a wooded lot undisturbed next to our conservation area.
Yep.
And so it's really just the cranberry bogs that we would have concerns about. But again, as long as they were done, which agricultural activities done in accordance with their requirements, we're fine.
You're not expecting anything?
Not at this site. We've bought other ones that had some concerns, I think, at the beginning. Mainly like Eel River, we found, I don't know, close to 100 buried tires. But we dealt with it accordingly. Certainly not anticipating anything like that at this site.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Pizarro. Mr. Pizarro, you have your hand up?
Yes. There's an appraisal for
Please speak up,
$600,000.
Mr. Pizarro. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
There's an appraisal for this for property of $600,000. Is there a justification for paying a premium of
Excuse me. No, that's an excellent question. So there was an appraisal done on the property. It did come in at $600,000. The rationale for paying more than that was simply because that the property owner had done significant improvements to these cranberry bogs a few years back, meaning they're the highest and most productive hybrid variety vines that are on there. So they're producing 2 to 3 times more than what a typical cranberry vine is producing. So barrels per acre on these bogs are significant. They had all new irrigation system put in a few years ago. So we did agree to pay $700,000. That nexus, that $100,000, We asked if Mass Audubon would cover that, so the town is only paying the appraised value, and Mass Audubon would be providing that additional $100,000. So at the end of the day, the town is in fact paying only the appraised value. The rationale for that is on this map. Water for these cranberry bogs are removed from this pond, flooded here. The flood waters from this are discharged down to this bog for harvest, and then all of that, to your earlier point about concerns about herbicides, pesticides, then it gets discharged over into here. This is the very beginning, the headwaters of Bartlett Brook. This is Tidmarsh right here. So it then flows through Tidmarsh, Bartlett Brook, Bartlett Pond, and out to the ocean via White Horse Beach. So we would anticipate significant water quality benefits for the entire watershed afterwards, and Mass Audubon certainly likes the idea of not having that discharge to their sanctuary, and therefore we're willing to pay that $100,000 to close that gap.
Thank you, Director Gould. Just another those vines, can they be reclaimed? Someone else who's a bog, a cranberry, take those and use them for their purposes?
Ms. Butler asked me the same question. I do not know
Thank
that, but we will certainly explore that. Prior to doing a restoration, we will reach out to some of the cranberry growers associations, and if there's a way to harvest those vines so that someone else can use them, we will certainly try to do that.
Thank you, Director Gould. No further questions.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Bradley or Mr. Gould from the committee? Are there any members from the public who wish to comment or ask a question? I see none remotely. No one here, so we'll move into committee discussions. Mr. Trudell, would you care to make a motion to approve Article 17?
I make a motion
All right.
to approve Article 17.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Vecchi, would you care to second? All right, we have a first, we have a second. Is there any discussion amongst the committee? All right, here. Oh, yes, Mr. Malaguti.
Thank you. I'm going to be voting yes on this project, but I did have similar questions to Mr. Pizarro. That's why I did not answer them. But I do have concerns going forward if we purchase properties like this that have people that did spend X amount of money for premium products that they're going to use for their actual operation of business, that shouldn't be our priority to pay the premium price tag for that if they're also getting the tax benefit of getting the land as well too. I think that we should be looking at more of the appraised value, not benefiting the person that's giving it to CPC or for the town based upon them basically increasing the appraised property of their land because they were going to be operating their own business. If it's going to be going to conservation land, we shouldn't be paying for a farming premium for that. Thank you.
Any other committee members? Seeing and hearing none, I will call for the vote. So, Ms. Butler, how do you vote on Article 17? All right.
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renat?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi? Yes. All right, motion carries 14 yes, 0 no, and no abstentions. Thank you. And now moving on to Article 18, Affordable Housing Habitat for Humanity. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $70,000 from the Community Preservation Available Funds, Reserves, or Fund Balance, and any other available fund and/or borrow and grant to the Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth for the purposes of affordable housing and construct a single-family home pursuant to General Law C-44B 12 and C 184, 33 through 31 through 33, with deed restricted affordable housing on the property located at 51 Strand Avenue, Plymouth, Massachusetts, Lot H28, Assessors Map 046-000H-000H-280, and further to further authorize the Select Board to enter into a grant agreement with the Habitat for Humanity or of Greater Plymouth for such purposes, and to accept the affordable housing restriction or take any other action relative thereto. Mr. Bradley from CPC, welcome back.
First, Mr. Chairman, is a correction. It's actually 31 Strand Avenue. I know that there's a misprint in the paperwork that you have that's going to be corrected. It actually has been corrected, but yours is
All right,
already
it
corrected.
has. I just think I grabbed the wrong copy earlier on, so my apologies. 31 Strand Avenue, Plymouth, Massachusetts, Lot H28.
Article 18 is affordable housing article of Habitat for Humanity. The CPC recommended this article go to fall town meeting by a vote of 5 in favor, 3 against, and no abstentions. This is for the appropriation of $70,000 to Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth for the purpose of constructing a single-family home at 31 Strand Avenue with an affordable housing deed restriction to count on the subsidized housing inventory in perpetuity. And Ms. Amy Belfour is here, so if you have any specific questions about the project or where it is and how it goes, she is available to answer and show you some slides if you wish.
All right, well, I'd like to begin the questions this evening with Mr. Trudell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And before I start asking questions, I saw this article. It pleased me because we're dealing with some 4 principles: shelter, food, medical, and that's the basis of our community. So, however, when I went through this, I had a problem. And the problem was there were 3 negative votes. I read the narrative on the 3 negative votes. I note that you did put that there. The members stated they were following the recommendation of the hired consultant and felt the land was donated by the town. The Affordable Housing Trust granted $50,000, and this as being the 3rd ask to town for the same property was too much. A member reminded the committee during the application interview, Belmore mentioned the possibility of the proceeds from this application being used for the next build in Carver. Other members expressed the need for affordable housing, support for Habitat for Humanity model, concerns on how the money was going to be used, if it would go directly to 31 Strand Avenue arose, and a motion was made to let the applicant answer the questions. So my question is, the consultant recommended no. 3 voted with the consultant.
Yes.
Could you help me understand the dynamics of what went on?
We, first of all, let me explain the housing consultant. We hired one last year for the first time, and that was at the urging of the statewide coalition for CPC. As they said, it's our board, similar to yours, is all volunteer. And even if our board was made up of lawyers and real estate agents and appraisers and so on, there are so many things involved in housing. Our first priority, obviously, is for affordable housing, but also to meet the SHI so that we can eventually get to that 10% and not have the 40Bs breathing down our back all the time. So the statewide coalition said, listen, you're a volunteer board. You can't know everything. You can't be looking at all these pro formas, be able to dig through them and know when a good deal and when it isn't. So we agreed with them, and I think most of the CPC throughout the state also have a consultant. LDS, Lynn D. Sweet, does a lot of consulting for other towns, and she's one of the experts in this particular area. Her issue was a couple things. One, that the project was going to go forward with or without the $70,000 from the CPC. You're right in there about the town had given the land, the town had taken it back for payment of taxes. So there was some value that the town lost and provided it. Then there was some money from the Housing Trust, and there was also $110,000 from the Pine Hills Housing Trust towards this project. And so some of the people in the negative were looking at the consultants' recommendations and the fact that a lot of this money had already been provided, and that the money that we put in could be into, and it is the Habitat's model to take money to get ready for the next project. It could also be used for repairs on someone's home during the year, say someone that needed to have a ramp put in or the heating system failed in the middle of winter. They could come in and do that type of work. The problem is that the money is specific for 31 Strand Ave to build that property and only for that, and it cannot be used for anything else under statutory regulation. So that's why the three voted against it, following the recommendations of the Lindy Suite, and also town council, in-house town council.
Thank you for that explanation. I would like to read something. You're Mr. Bradley, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You would be familiar with this. I'm reading something that says, Chair Bradley read the statement from LDS Consulting regarding her opinion.
Please get near the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Chair Bradley read the statement from the LDS Consulting regarding her opinion of not recommended the project. Belmore explained their model and how their funds are used. This will be a deed-restricted unit, 60% AMI. That will count on the subsidizing housing inventory. Ford explained the application states $500,000 has been raised already. And then this application for $70,000 from the CPC totals $575,000 to build a home costing $365,000, which is the reason the independent consultant did not support the application. Chair Bradley said the town council will need to review. Belmore explained that Habitat took proceeds from the Kingston House to start a bill in Plymouth House, and this is their practice. So there is this question of the bear with me, I'm trying to find it again here. Oh, so she felt that they would be departing with some $200,000 some dollars. Could you help me understand what the Habitat for Humanity brought into this project and what's going out? And is that $200-some thousand correct?
That amount is correct, yes. Right now, Habitat does not owe any money on that property or the home. So when they turn it over to the owners and get the mortgage on it, that money will go back to Habitat for Humanity as part of their model to get ready to build the next home and to find funds available for repairs and things like that during the year. Certainly, if you wish, Amy could explain that a little bit better than I can, but now you know exactly what we were up against in our committee when we were looking at it.
If she would like to make an explanation, I would be pleased to hear it.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Amy Belmore. I'm the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth, and I just wanted to sort of clarify the first part of the first question I think that you had, sir. So just to come back to the overall financing structure for this property, the $70,000 that we've requested for CPC is in fact directly related and connected to the costs associated with building this house at 31 Strand Avenue. So the pro forma that you have found in your packet or would have seen in the materials provided to you showed that the cost of the project, including acquisition costs. We did pay a nominal cost to the Plymouth Redevelopment Authority, as well as hard and soft costs was about $375,000. We did, in fact, receive $50,000 from the Plymouth Affordable Housing Trust. And the Pine Hills Affordable Housing Charitable Trust, that's a private foundation, so a private trust rather. So that was part of our private fundraising, and we have additional private funds that will be applied to this project as well. So coming back to our model that you're asking about, we raised the funds to build these homes, these affordable homes. We are serving a community of people in the 30 to 60% area median income. So they're underserved. They don't often have the chance, or they don't have the chance at the 80% mark that for-profit developers are providing. So 100% of the houses that Habitat builds is for this underserved population at 60% area median income. When we partner with local community banks to hold and service the mortgages. So we close with the Habitat homeowners. These are working families. This is a Plymouth family that has been selected from the lottery drawing. After they put in their sweat equity hours and participate in the building alongside of our volunteers, we get to the end of the project, we close with the homeowner, and then we sell that mortgage. In the case of this house, the cost of this house, it's truly affordable at $229,102 for a 3-bedroom home. And those proceeds, the sale proceeds, then we as an organization, redirect those funds directly back into developing and building more affordable homes in our service area. So I think you had referenced my comments in the CPC meeting about a Kingston home. That we had a lot of conversation in the CPC meeting, and I had directed their attention to our historical list of new home construction. It's in your packet as well. And we've built 9 homes in Plymouth over our 28-year history, and all 6 of the last that we've built, including this one, are here in Plymouth. And what I was directing attention to was, if you walk back up that list, from the bottom, 7th up is a home in Kingston. So when we sold that mortgage, we used those funds out of a Kingston sale to benefit Plymouth more so than any other town in our 6-town service area. So what I was trying to say in that example was that we are a regional 6-town service area nonprofit. All habitats in the state of Massachusetts are regional. Workforce housing is a regional issue. And so we use the sale proceeds from our mortgage sales to continue the work of developing and building affordable homes for housing insecure and low-income families in our community, all of them being in the workforce. They all are employed with stable housing.
This project started in April. Did anyone do due diligence to find out how much money you were bringing in and how much money you expected to part with at the end? Because I don't think the CPC would be involved in that because it's back into April.
Sorry to interrupt. Yes, we do. We draft a pro forma prior to starting a project, so we get a sense, and this is based on history, based on what costs are historically as well as present day. We've been building continuously, so we have a good handle on what the construction costs are. Obviously, things have escalated over the last year or so, or 6 months or so, but we build that pro forma and then we revisit it as we need to. We, as Habitat, are leveraging our nonprofit status to bring in discounts and donations of materials and services from vendors, obviously suppliers. And so we're able to get more bang for your buck in terms of delivering a home at a cost of $229,000 to the homeowner, or a true cost of $375,000. That does include a contingency, by the way, But within that financing mix, I should also mention, we have Habitat resources in that pro forma too. So in terms of the in-kind solicitations that we are on a rolling basis as we go through a construction project, we're continuously using that nonprofit status to try to get those discounts. And we're successful. It varies by degree. We might do well on one line item and not so well on another. But we absolutely project it in advance, and we revisit it continuously.
I guess my question is, within your Mr. Bradley, within your application here,
Yes.
and it was the last page with the Lynn Sweet, principal of LDS Consulting. She said talked about the proceeds, and then she said in her report, they will essentially pocketing $234,000 from this project. The money does not appear to be earmarked for future build in Plymouth or to help with repairs in Plymouth. Therefore, it is hard for me to support their request for CPA funding unless there is some stipulation that would benefit the residents of Plymouth. So my original question was, how much money was brought into this project? And she's estimating that $234,000 will depart.
$234,000 is what they'll end up with when they get the mortgage money comes back to them.
I understand that, but I'm trying to find out from Kingston, since they moved money from here to the next one, which is Carver.
Yes.
Did anybody find out how much money they brought into this project?
I just know that the land was donated. There was $50,000 from, and this is part of the reason why some of the members had a hard time with it, from the Housing Trust, and also from Pine Hills Housing Trust is another $110,000. It was practically fully funded by the town, and those members felt that asking for another $70,000 was just too much. But,
Mr. Trudell, we're gonna need
how much was left over from another project to brought in? I don't know, no.
Okay.
And no. If we could see receipts that money was spent exactly on what it was granted for, that would be a different story. But it's part of their model, as Amy explained, and we don't see that.
All right, Mr. Trudell, I need to wrap this up. Other
Okay,
citizens
I
to ask
will
questions.
come back with more questions afterwards.
All right, very good. I think, you may, go ahead, Ms. And state your last name again, we didn't quite hear it.
Sorry, Belmore.
Belmont?
Belmore.
Belmore, thank you.
Belmore, yeah. The $111,000 from the Pine Hills Affordable Housing Charitable Trust, that's private funding. It's not town funding. It's the Pine Hills. So they have a trust of their own. And so I just want to be clear that that is private money. It's not public money. Really important.
All right, thank you for that clarification. I believe Ms. Richards was next, followed by Mr. Dunn. Ms. Richards, do you have still ask one?
Thank you. So in my, and this is just going to be a quick question. In searching for prior projects, I found a project at 2 Brayley Lane, and since 2010, there has been 4 tax takings recorded against that property. They've all been paid, but I thought that the homeowner was required to pay the taxes within their mortgage. And if it appears to be not the case in this property. So
Brayley Lane.
Yeah.
So for Brayley Lane, that was one of our earlier homes. They are responsible, so all Habitat homeowners are responsible for their mortgage, their property tax, and their insurance. We do have, we are aware of some tax takings that have been needed to be cleared up through history. Obviously, these are low-income households that continue to struggle sometimes. But in general, Habitat homeowners are responsible, their mortgage, their property tax, their homeowner's insurance, and more recently including this
No,
home that we're
yeah.
talking about now.
Thank you. I understand. I'm asking, is there a requirement that all of these things, insurance, tax,
Yeah.
be included in their mortgage? And
Yes,
if
it could-
not,
yeah.
I would suggest you put that into your model
I
so
think
that
she
we're
said
not
yes to
paying
your
question.
twice. Well, it wasn't in this case,
It was,
obviously.
yeah, it wasn't in that case, but more, that was years back. So that's all now part of their escrow.
That's all I needed. It's included now.
In their escrow, yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Dunn.
Thank you. My first question is for Mr. Bradley. How much was spent on this consultant to tell us not to do affordable housing?
Last bill,
I feel like most
maybe
consultants are a waste.
I think it might have been. It was
So I'm
close
just
to
curious how much we
600,000.
spent
I mean,
on this guy to tell us not
$600.
to build a house. We've gone through how many affordable housing projects previously without a consultant, so it just seems like a waste of money to me since we've been able to do it without them before.
I think by using the housing consultant, the town of Plymouth, at least the staff and the Community Preservation Committee, has definitely gotten an education on how this whole process works. The affordable housing, with private developers, with Habitat, there's all different models out there. So we've definitely gotten an education on how it works. And it's really up to the town of Plymouth, the taxpayers, if they want to contribute towards it or not. I mean, it's totally up to you. It's just, these are sort of the facts that we were given, and then you decide how you'd like to spend your money. That's all.
What's the figure?
How much we pay her?
Yeah, how
The
much did we pay the
consultant?
consultant for this?
For this particular one,
Yeah.
I don't know what so we have her sort of like on retainer.
Oh, she's on retainer? Okay.
To guide us with all the different
So
projects.
it's not just this project?
No.
Okay.
No.
And again,
Thank
for
you.
those watching, this is Ms. Lynn Barrett, Director of Finance for the town of Plymouth. Thank you, Ms. Barrett.
Then I got a quick question for Ms. Belmore. Plymouth residents can apply to live in the Habitat houses that are built in different communities, right? This is like a regional thing. It's not just, I hear like a lot of, it kind of reminds me of the conversation we had around the homeless shelter where people are like, these people aren't from Plymouth, so like, why should we help them when, when it's a regional thing, I think. So is that the case that people from Plymouth could apply if the project was in another town?
Absolutely. So we have a 6-town service area, Plymouth and 5 surrounding towns, and anyone who lives or works in any of the service area towns can apply for a home in any one of the service area towns. And I appreciate that you brought up that it is a regional issue, because certainly workforce housing, someone working here in Plymouth and living a town over, or living here in Plymouth and working a town or two over, it is truly a regional situation. And we know that, the ability to stay close to family or to social networks is important as well. And so if we can provide a housing opportunity in a neighboring town to a Plymouth resident who simply can't afford to live in this sky-high, crazy real estate market, whether it's a growing family like the one that will live in this house, it's a family of 4 that is Plymouth-based, a pair of, nurses who worked in hospital settings through COVID, one's moved on to plumbing trades. You'll hear, it's just, the past 2 families that we've served also have included people who work in our schools and in our DCR parks. So they're here to serve the community. They want to live in the community. They want to raise their family in their community. And so it certainly is a regional issue, and we're proud to do the work both here in Plymouth, where we have done the majority of our work, as well as the other towns. I also do just want to mention that we also use those sale proceeds to support a program. It's an ongoing program called Brush with Kindness, and this is critical home repair that ranges from large-scale renovations for medically fragile or disability situations or aging-in-place situations to small repairs like weatherization and wheelchair ramps. So those applications from low-income households are coming in on a regular basis, and we're able to support those projects because we have the funds available through our program.
Thank you, Ms. Belmore.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, any other questions from the committee? Mr. Vecchi?
From Mrs. Belmore. So basically, what I'm taking out of this, and I'll just for full disclosure, this is something that we've been worked out while I was a member of the redevelopment authority, that we've been working on this project for a while. But without the money to build the house, there will be no proceeds at the end, correct? So we need the $70,000 to help build a house.
Well, we're asking the town of Plymouth to help us build an affordable home that is going on the subsidized housing inventory. It's important to know that this is a local action unit, which is a component of the local initiative program through the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. It's a way that the town of Plymouth can get an affordable unit onto the SHI and count it. We certainly understand that Plymouth and many towns want to be adding to their SHI count. And so this home will be on the SHI, and the local action part of that involves municipal action. That's the nature of the program. This is a state-run program that we participate in partnership with each municipality, in this case, Plymouth. So they are deed restricted in perpetuity, I should say, as well.
Yes, I'm 100% on board with it. The point I was just trying to get is if we don't build the house, then you can't sell the house, then there won't be any money down the road. So this is all part of the process, and I think that some people in the prior vote were fixated on the revenue that would be generated, but if we don't build it, there's no revenue to be generated, is what I'm taking out of that. So, I mean, we need to spend money to build a house to add affordable housing. If we don't do that, there is no $214,000 down the road. So I think people are fixating on an end state that won't exist unless we actually build this house, which I have been in favor of for a significant amount of time. I don't even remember when we started back at the redevelopment authority. It's probably been a year and a half, 2 years.
Yes, a couple of years.
So
And this land was in land court for a very long time. This,
Because there was actually an SJC decision that revolved around tax title properties that were taken by the town. That had to be cleared. This has been a long time project, but to the, my understanding of these 3 people that voted against the article were fixated on the end state and not with actually adding to the affordable housing the affordable housing inventory. So I am 100% in favor of this. We've worked together this on a long time. And that's all I really wanted to say.
All right, Mr. Renaud and then Mr. Snyder.
I just wanted to confirm something. I thought it was mentioned earlier, but the 70,000 isn't a make or break on this, correct? The project's moving forward, whether or not you guys get the 70,000?
yes, but it's not to say, the house is underway. That's a photo of it right there on screen. That's the exterior weather tight. The interior is not done yet.
The 70,000 isn't 100% necessary.
Oh, it's necessary. It's necessary for us to find a source for $70,000 if town meeting body, which I hope wouldn't be the case. Of course, we're here to hope that the town of Plymouth will support the article, but we do need to cover the costs, the hard and soft costs that are outlined in the pro forma. And so should CPC, along with the Affordable Housing Trust, is charged with affordable housing as a priority. And so it was a natural request for us to go to those 2 sources. And we hope the town and you all will support the request. If the article does not pass, we will be hard at work to find the money elsewhere.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Snyder, and then Mr. Pizarro.
Well, one of my questions was the same one that was just asked, but I have one other question, too. How many people applied for this home? And this was expired in June, so how did you pick the person that's going to be in there?
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about that person without telling us who it is?
Sure. So our application process starts with a written application. It's put out publicly, media, social media. We send mailings and outreach to housing agencies, VSOs, churches, lots of other nonprofits in the human service industry, in human services. And it's an open application process with information sessions for people to come and learn about it. We also go through obviously, they need to be eligible. They can't make too much money. We're at that 60% area median income threshold. So, and they also can't have too much debt. They have to have solid employment to back up their ability to pay their mortgage. Really important. A common misconception is that we're gifting these houses. That is absolutely not what Habitat does. These folks become affordable mortgage holders over a 30-year term. And so we're doing a lot of qualifying work, just as banks do, except that we're providing opportunity to those who don't have traditional, or don't have a path to traditional financing. So, and then ultimately, they're drawn out of a lottery, a blind lottery.
Okay, so that was the question. So
Yep.
I wanted to know how many people applied, and you do it through a lottery.
Yes, we
So
do it through a
it's-
lottery. So total applications on this one, I want to say, was around in the low 40s, but the number of those qualified was less than half of that, once we get through that, the vetting of their income and their debt ratios and things of that nature.
And can you tell us a little bit about the family, the composition of the family?
Absolutely. This is a 4-person family, so I think I mentioned before, they have Plymouth, they have a base in Plymouth. They live currently with parents, actually, as they try to raise their own 2 children. So they have a first grader and a preschooler. As I said before, they both were LPNs. They worked as nurses in the hospital setting. Through COVID, there was, well, I think that it was described to us, and I do have a guest with me here today who wants to make some comments as well, and she'll tell you a little bit more, but that was a lot of toll, right, mental health toll going through COVID in a hospital setting. So he switched up, went into the plumbing trades. He's an apprentice now on his way to getting his journeyman's license, and she is currently working in a pharmacy.
Thank you very much.
In Plymouth.
All right,
Both
thank you.
in Plymouth.
Any other committee members who wish to ask questions that haven't already asked a question? All right. Mr. Trudell, do you have any question that has not been asked by the committee?
Actually, I want to apologize to Mr. Bradley. I feel that some of my questions have been a tad sharp. Information that I received, I asked through channel, and it is the minutes of the meeting from the CDC. I just wanted the members of the committee to know that. It's a public document. And like I say, I apologize to you, sir, if it was sharp.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Trudell, and I do appreciate your questions. Is there any member of the public that would like to make a comment? Yes, please approach the podium and state your name and residence, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sheila Fay. I am a lifelong Plymouth resident, and I proudly serve on the board of Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth. One of my favorite roles is getting to know the families that become Habitat homeowners and sharing their stories with our community. The family at the heart of tonight's discussion is a young family of 4. He grew up here. He went to Plymouth South High School. He graduated from the tech program. And on paper, he and his wife really did everything right. They both went to college. They both became nurses. They both entered the workforce in a hospital setting. And then COVID happened, and it took a massive toll, causing him to switch gears and enter a different trade, while she moved to a local pharmacy for a better schedule while raising their kids. This meant changes in pay, and like so many other young adults in my generation here, they moved their family in with their parents for what was supposed to be only a short while. But as housing prices and interest rates skyrocketed, he told me that his dream of owning a house seemed to just be slipping away. But all that has changed now that they are our newest selected homeowners. Now, with a first grader in the Plymouth public school system and a preschooler here, this young family will soon have a place here to call home forever. Something that feels truly surreal to them after all but losing hope in this dire housing market. And they're not alone. Over the past 2 years, we've also helped a single mom who serves as a DCR ranger assigned to our territory. She cares for the public parks and waterfront spaces that we all enjoy here in our town. She simply could not afford a home here for her and her daughter in this market. And this happens to be a woman who told me that she collects gloves and hand warmers to keep in her pack as she's patrolling the area to offer them to those in need when she finds them in our parks. Now that's the kind of neighbor that I want in my community. And then there's our homeowner who served in the US Navy for 8 years as an aviation mechanic, and then found himself unemployed during the pandemic, forced to live in veterans shelter for a period, and eventually living with family. Now he's employed by the Plymouth Public School Systems as a custodian, and he and his wife and their 2 beautiful daughters were able to move out of her parents' house in Plymouth to their own beautiful Habitat home. Each of these 3 young Plymouth families honestly never thought owning a home here was in their future. And yet, with the help of Habitat, these 3 families are now able to live here and serve in important workforce roles here in our community. And Habitat doesn't just benefit the homeowners, it's also the volunteers, many of them retirees. They find purpose and connection while working at our sites. And in fact, over 300 volunteers will have worked at the Strand Avenue site before its completion. Together, we're really building homes, but more importantly, we are building community. And with that, I appreciate your time and your consideration and all that every single one of you do for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other comments? Seeing and hearing none. Mr. Jacinto, would you care to make a motion to approve Article?
I'll make a motion to approve Article 18.
Thank you. And Ms. Keating, would you care to make a second?
Second it.
All right, we have a first from Mr. Jacinto, a second from Ms. Keating. Is there any discussion among the committee? All right, seeing and hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renat?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi? All right, the motion carries 14 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Thank you very much. All right, we're on to Article 19, Historic Preservation, Little Red Schoolhouse. And just give me a moment here to pause. I think I have all my alarms silenced now. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $36,000 from the Community Preservation Available Fund Reserves Funds or fund balance or any other available fund and/or borrow for historic preservation purposes, Little Red Schoolhouse existing condition study based upon the recommendation of the Community Preservation Committee pursuant to General Law, Chapter 44B, or take any other action relative thereto. Mr. Bradley.
Thank you. Article 19 is a historic preservation article, Little Red Schoolhouse in Cedarville. And we're asking for an appropriation of $36,000 for an existing condition study of this historically significant Little Red Schoolhouse built in 1830, and as to further evaluate the necessary steps to preserve the structure. The survey will identify structural, architectural, and environmental issues and provide critical data to guide the preservation efforts, ensure that there's safety and support for future restoration efforts. As you know, this right now is being used as a community room, community center, serving a vital gathering space. Securing this funding will help preserve the community landmark for future generations, maintaining our community's historical legacy and local engagement. It also corresponds with the historical preservation section of the Cedarville Village Center Master Plan. And it was a vote of the CPC to send this to fall town meeting, 7 in favor, 1 against, and no abstentions.
All right, any questions for Mr. Bradley? Yes, Mr. Malaguti.
Thank you. In the document and the memorandum, it talks to the state that the Little Ridge Schoolhouse revolving fund or gift account would be partnering up about 50% of it. So is the CPC ask half of it and it's really around $70,000, or is it going to be $18,000 and the other 18 is coming out of that fund?
It was confusing to the committee when it first came to us, through the way it was worded. The Little Red Schoolhouse revolving fund is allowed to spend up to $30,000 a year. They are willing to pay half of the cost of whatever the study is, and we have to cap any appropriations that we make, CPC. So we capped ours at $36,000. They have $30,000. If it comes in at $20,000, they would pay 10, and we would pay 10, and the rest of the money would go back in. We don't think that it's going to run $70,000 or $66,000.
Okay, no, that was one of the things, because it was confusing to me as well, too, as I was reading it, because I'm like, is it actually
It scared
double
a
what
few
it
of the
is, or is
community
it?
members, that
The other question I have is, with this existing conditions study, are we also going to be looking at prior metrics the town has done in the past, especially with like the Dude Solutions and all that gave conditions reports for all of the town-owned properties to be used to enhance that, so it's not, in a way, reinventing some of the wheel for that?
This one will be more or less, Connor Anderson can answer most of that question, but more or less on historic value.
Yes, Connor Anderson, Historic Resources Coordinator. To answer your question, this is more of, we're basically trying to not repeat what's going on with Memorial Hall. We're trying to be proactive with the historic properties. As far as Dude Solutions is concerned, that's more of a DPW question. This is just an existing survey condition that will just give us sort of a roadmap and kind of let us know what shape the building is in and what has to be improved. Once we have that, and if we decide to make any improvements, then that would go to a Dude or to the DPW and maintenance for however they want to incorporate it into their Dude Solutions platform.
Okay, because based upon looking, I was talking about structural integrity, historic value, and all that, so that's why I enhanced it with Dude Solutions, because since it is a town property that is serviced by DPW that deals with structural, mechanical, and all that issues, that's why I just wanted to know if that was going to enhance that, or if they were going to use aspects of that to further the study.
It would probably enhance it. Again, we were going to hire preservation experts to look at this building up and down, backwards and forwards. So it's going to come at it from a historical perspective with that sort of angle, if that answers your question at all. So it will enhance it, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Ms. Butler.
Thank you. Okay, it says here that you're doing the existing conditions study. So that's like a mechanical inspection, as opposed to history.
That's just the terminology. It's going to investigate the historical nature of the building, and like I said before, we're trying to not have what happened with Memorial Hall, when all of a sudden we have a historic building that's all of a sudden falling apart all at once. We want to get ahead of the game on this one and be proactive. So it's just an existing conditions as to, basically what shape the building's in. But since it's a historical building, it has to be done properly. You can't just have anyone come and do this. That's why you preservation specialists come in and look at it, people who do this for a living and people who are dedicated to this.
Okay, so if they're really doing just the existing conditions.
Just what shape the building is in now. We're being proactive.
Okay, that doesn't cost $36,000.
When you're dealing with the historic buildings, it does.
Okay, we've been doing work with this building now for some time.
The Little Red Schoolhouse?
I'm sorry?
The Little Red Schoolhouse?
Right.
Okay.
So no one has been looking at this house?
Not
checking-
from a historical angle, no.
So this is really historical, not so much the existing condition? Because this seems like a lot of money to be spending.
It's the existing conditions, but they're keeping in mind the historical nature of the building. We're getting caught up on semantics here. That's just the name of the report. That's the name of it's just an existing conditions report.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Minot.
Did this go out to bid, multiple bids on?
It hasn't gone through the procurement process at this point.
So is the estimated cost $36,000?
Yes, that's the quote that we had received.
So did you get a quote from several?
Just for when the procurement process happens, we have to do the 3 quotes, but for budgeting purposes, we just got the 1.
All right. I share the same thoughts. It seems pretty costly for a.
When you put historical on anything, the price goes up. unfortunately.
I get that, I just,
Yeah.
you're
Everyone
paying
has the
for the
same
word
reaction.
historical a lot of
Yeah.
times, so. I personally have reservations about 36,000 on a inspection.
Okay, I think Mr. Ramey, and I'll get to Mr. Malaguti on the second round. I think.
So it says it's a community center right now. Can you just tell us what that means? What type of
So right now, the town rents it out to local groups. A lot of Alcoholics Anonymous meetings that happen there. They have birthday parties. They have, I know people who are practicing, musicians will use it. They just held their, they had a field day of sorts back in July. But you can rent it out. Anyone can rent it out. Just goes before the committee, and then the rental fees, which is $10 an hour, goes into this revolving fund, which is going to be taking care of half of the total bill.
Thank you.
Well,
I also know they have precinct meetings there, caucus meetings. Anyone who hasn't had a chance yet? Otherwise, I turn to Mr. Malaguti.
Thank you. I think going back to the semantics is basically because if we look at the next article, that's a historic structure report. If we're looking at it more as historically, I think it should have been worded as a historic structure report, which also is looking at the existing condition of it instead of an existing condition study. And I think that's where some of us are having the difficulty in this. The article should have been worded differently in the terminology of this. Thank you.
that's my fault.
All right, any further questions from the committee? Any questions from the public? Yes, Mr. Donardo, if I remember correctly. Huh? Oh, sorry, my apologies.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I just want you to know the Little Red Schoolhouse is a very valuable place. It's used for, they have Al-Anon, they have Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, precinct meetings. It's a very active building. Nothing's really been done to that building in a long time, like most of our buildings. So we need this to make sure that building withstands the next 100 years, because it's really an important building, especially to the people in the area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, any other members of the public? Seeing none, either remotely or in person. Ms. Butler, would you care to make a motion to approve Article 19?
I make a motion to approve Article 19.
And Mr. Dunn?
Second.
All right, we have a first, we have a second. Is there any discussion among the committee? Seeing and hearing none? Oh, sorry, my apologies, Ms. Richards.
Thank you. I am going to agree with Mr. Lydon that it is a very valuable piece of property in the Cedarville area. Precinct caucuses are held there, precinct meetings are held there, in addition to all of the meetings and all of the events that Mr. Lydon mentioned. Going in, if anybody actually has sat in a precinct caucus there, as I have on several occasions, it's freezing, the bathroom doesn't work, it is in dire need of work, and for such a historical place, it's a shame. It really is a shame. So I'm excited to see that that property preserved. Thank you.
Mr. Dunn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Ms. Richards. I think we've had a long history in this town of kind of letting our buildings degrade over time without doing the maintenance that we need to do. And I think it's good to see the town being proactive and looking at something that we can do ahead of time to make sure that this historic building stays in good shape, or returns to good shape, I should say.
All right, any other members? Yes, Ms. Butler?
Okay, I agree with both of my members here, but I can't see spending $36,000 for an inspection. If you said this is going to be taken and put into this, or this, but just, we're going to spend $36,000 to have someone come and look at this building? That I have a problem with. So I don't know if it's the way it's written.
I remind you, Ms. Butler, that this is establishing the maximum amount that can be spent, and if the budget comes in lower,
On the
then
inspection.
it'll be, less money will be spent, but this is typically on these kinds of requests, you want to aim high so you don't have to come back to the well for another request. So again, this is the maximum it could be, and maybe, hopefully, will be lower. All right. Any other comments questions for the committee? All right. Seeing and hearing none. Let's see, where are we? We are at Article 19. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
I'm voting no.
All right. Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro, sorry. Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renaud?
No.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi? Yes. All right.
Okay, we have 2 noes, so it would be,
I think we have 12 yes, 2 noes, 0 abstentions. The motion carries. Thank you. All right. Article 20, Historic Preservation Memorial Hall Historic Structure Report. Yes, Ms. Barrett, Director of Finance.
If I could request, if you guys would kindly do the training green next, because Nick has been sitting here all night, and there isn't anyone here specifically necessarily for, I mean, Connor is here for, I just feel bad for Nick. I don't know.
Who's presenting on Memorial Hall? Is that you, Mr. Bradley?
Yes, yeah,
Would you be okay with yielding the floor to Article 21?
absolutely. Let's move over to Article 21 first.
All right, well, let me read that one in, please. I have to find it first. You know what page it's on? Or got the wording up by any chance? Or do you have the words for Article 21 handy, Jeanette? Article 21, Open Space Recreation Plymouth Training Green, to see if the town will vote to appropriate $644,000, sum from the Community Preservation Fund reserves, fund balance, or any other available fund, and/or borrow for the creation and/or restoration and rehabilitation of land for open space and recreational use pursuant to the Community Preservation Act, which land is commonly known as the Training Green and is shown on Assessor's Map 19, Plot 238 as lots 000, and specifically for the rehabilitation and rebuilding of the training green as described in the final schematic plan, otherwise known as the plan, designed by SLR dated July 2025, as presented to the Select Board and the Historic District Committee, and as funding therefore based upon the recommendation of the Community Preservation Committee pursuant to General Law, Chapter 44B, or take any other action relative thereto. Welcome, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you. Article 21 is open space and recreation. The CPC voted 8 in favor, none against, no abstentions to pass this along to fall town meeting. And this is for appropriation of $644,000 to rehabilitate and preserve the historic training green built around 1711, designed by the famous landscape architect known as Frederick Law Olmsted. Olmsted's a name that you will know in town. The park is known to be one of the oldest continuously used parks in the country. The rehabilitation will address safety concerns, ADA compliant entries and walkways, mass architectural access building board, compliant stairway entrances, lighting and flagpole, and an irrigation system, all the while being sensitive to the original historic design. And if you have any questions, Nick Fiala is here that can answer them for you.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Bradley. Questions from the board? Hearing and seeing none. And Mr. Pizarro, I can't see you, but I presume you don't have any questions. Does anyone wish to make any public comment? Seeing and hearing none, either virtually or present. Now I have to figure out what to do here. So I think, no, he's already done that. Don't worry about it. Mr. Malaguti, would you care to move Article 21?
I move Article 21.
All right, and Mr. Pizarro, would you care to second Article 21?
Second.
All right, we have a first from Mr. Malaguti, a second from Mr. Pizarro. Is there any discussion among the committee? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renat?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi? All right, I believe we have 14 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstentions, and you guys owe Ms. Barrett a thank you.
Can you introduce the next article too, Lynn?
So I believe I've read Article 20 already into the meeting, so I will dispense with the reading and ask Mr. Bradley to approach the podium and present his, present Article 20.
20 we're going to go to, yes.
Yeah, that's the Memorial Hall Historic Structure Report.
Yes, Article 20, Historic Preservation, Memorial Hall Historic Structure Report. The committee approved this by a vote of 5 in favor, 2 in the negative, and no abstentions to move it along to fall town meeting. And it is for the appropriation of $90,000 for an historic structure report to contribute to the preservation, restoration, and improvements to this historic building. The historic structure report will be written and illustrated reference documenting the document that provides a thorough historic and architectural evaluation of Memorial Hall. It'll identify significant original and subsequently added features and spaces, existing appearance and condition, and historic events associated with the building. The report will serve as a guide for any future historic restoration of Memorial Hall. And I'd just like to add to that this report will be useful whether the Memorial Hall is restored or if eventually the town decides that they want to demolish it and build a new one. We will have a listing of everything in that building that's just of historic value that needs to be saved either way.
All right, questions from the committee? So, yes, Mr. Ramey.
Can you tell us why 2 people voted no?
Money. We're looking to save some money and not go any further. And one of them would rather see the total cost for building a brand-new building as well as rehabbing this one side by side before they spent any money at all. But again, the rest of the committee felt that we needed to have the report either way so that ahead of time we knew. Just as a for instance, if we went in and this preservation specialist went in and found out that the trim around the windows was something specific that was done in that era, done by hand, and was never used again, we wouldn't want those to be thrown away with the debris. We want to be able to save that. And that's just a for instance. I'm sure there's other things, doors and things like that around the stage that are of a lot of historic value that we don't know about yet.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, Ms. Tompkins.
I reviewed the select board presentation made on June 24th. I have all those details here, but it sounds like you kind of answered my question of, I am in agreement with the no vote. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to vote. We'll see what happens. But the fact of kind of that cost comparison of, doing this assessment, but also tear down versus all of these refurbishments. It seems like we did the water infiltration analysis in 2011. We didn't do any remediation. And then in 2016, we earmarked $86,000 for other improvements, and we have not spent any of those funds. So I'm really, I'm kind of a long-term thinker, and so I just have the same concern of again, it sounds like we need to spend this money regardless, but I would like to see that cost comparison of not only between tear down and refurbishments, but how long would those refurbishments last? If it's like 5 to 10 years, I'm not sure that is a long enough time for me to.
Quite often, you'll
anyways.
hear from a real estate agent, if they're selling an older home, that it needs a lot of work, but it's got great bones. We're not all convinced that the building that's sitting there has great bones.
So that's just my overall concern. Thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? Yes, Ms. Butler.
Okay, with the CPC, there were 5 people in agreement and 2 against. Can you say why the 2 were against?
Yes, spending money. We have 2, yeah.
It's all around money.
Two members would rather not spend the money just because of the other articles that we were looking at.
All right. Anyone else have a question? Yes, Mr. Renaud, and then Mr. Trudell.
So this report, it's much more along the lines of just taking account of everything and how to treat it if we wanted to repair certain things. I kind of share the similar concerns to it. Like, it would be nice to see what would be the cost of repairing all these things to bring it up to its former glory versus is it just worth it to, like you said, not sure if the bones are brittle and just build new. It seems like we're maybe doing half a study that, it'd be nice to have a full comparison of what would be the best next step and not just do something that sits on the sidelines for a while.
Yes, this historic study will not replicate any of the reports that they've done so far where they've chased water issues and done the feasibility. This will be strictly looking at, and in this preservation specialist will look at pictures and drawings from the past and read all kinds of articles, and they'll be able to know what may be hidden that we don't even see nowadays that have been covered over somewhere along the line that should be preserved and shown.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Richards.
Am I wrong in assuming that this historical study is not just to see if it's worth, fixing up, but it's also looking at what can be, if we decide not to fix it or fix it up, excuse me, what can be taken from it, such that this courthouse, okay, this beautiful building we are in now, there were so many different things that were kept, integrated, and preserved, like that wonderful clock that we listen to every meeting. Oh, it wasn't from here. Oh, well, let's ditch it then. But what I'm saying is, there are a lot of different, molding, stairways, railings that can be taken and used, elsewhere. Perhaps in the Cedarville Little Red Schoolhouse. But what I'm saying is that's what it's for. That's what this study is also for.
Yes, it's to identify all the historic pieces and parts of that building that need to be saved or rehabbed. Some of them probably don't have to need any rehab. They may be perfectly fine where they are, but unless they were identified, they might accidentally be torn down and thrown away as they were replacing windows or whatever was happening.
Very
And we
good.
don't want that to happen.
Correct. Thank you so much.
Any other questions for Mr. Bradley? Okay. Oh, yes, Mr. Ramey.
So this building's only 100 years old. What would make something need to be saved versus, this town is 400 years old?
Well, back then, a lot of millwork would have been done by hand. We were just getting to the age where they were manufacturing millwork, at a construction line. So things like that. Connor may be able to answer some other questions on that, but there would be things in there that would have been used and in place in that building and may have been part of some event that was historic that we'd want to save and be able to placard it so that everybody knew.
Yeah, basically that, but, you know, there's certain architectural styles that come in and out of fashion over the years. You know, also the nature of the building having it be a memorial to veterans. There's some artifacts in the building there. Also, just to note that with this historic structure report in hand, if we were to then go ahead and rehabilitate the building, it would be a supplement to any sort of grant that the town might be able to apply for, any sort of federal and state grants. It's a very good report to have as a supplement.
Any other questions? I have one or two. My current understanding is that this building is not on the National Historic Register. Is that a fair statement?
The historic district is on the National Register, and as a contributing property to the historic district, it is therefore on the National Register technically. It's on the State Register of Historic Places, and it's listed on MACRIS as well.
All right, so if the decision was to tear it down, then this study might be necessary?
It would be, it's necessary either way. Like Ed was saying, you know, if we do choose to demo the building, you want to keep the historic parts of it as much as you can. I mean, you look at the desk that you're sitting at right now, that came from the old Registry of Deeds building.
Okay. All right, I'll save the rest of my comments for discussion among the committee. Any further questions? All right.
I think I read somewhere about water problems. There were water problems in the building.
So that's a question for the DPW. I'm not privy to any of that sort of
I'll,
knowledge.
if I may answer that question, I sit on the building committee. I toured the building. We have a report, and I will tell you, the building has serious, with a capital, all capital letters, building envelope issues that need to be addressed immediately, or the building will probably fall down sometime in the future. Any other questions? All right, any public comment? Seeing none remotely or present. Let's see, I inadvertently skipped Ms. O'Connor. Ms. O'Connor, would you care to move this article?
So moved.
All right, and Mr. Ramey, would you care to second?
A second.
All right, we have a first from Ms. O'Connor, a second from Mr. Ramey. Is there discussion among the board? Yes, Ms. Tompkins.
So just again to clarify, this study will need to be done regardless whether down the line the decision is to do refurbishments to it or to tear it down. So regardless of this vote that, I'm sorry, that this will have to happen. But if anyone is interested in reviewing that report, it was a very great presentation. I appreciate all the materials and what went into it. But that was a select board presentation on June 24th. You can watch it on the local scene. It was about at the 1 hour, 20-minute mark.
All right, anyone else? Yes, Mr. Malaguti.
Thank you. Even though I wish that this could have been done in the original findings report, as other members of the public have stated as well too, I am 100% in support of this article, not just because in case we need to demolish the building, which I hope is a long no, but because this is a very large, not just in size, but in presence, anchorage to not just the cultural part of Plymouth, but also the recreational and enhancement of tourism part of Plymouth, and it's a very vital part of our economy and just our regular everyday life. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Renaud?
I'm personally in support of this. I noticed that I believe it's the same company doing this kind of study that's proposed to do the Little Red Schoolhouse one, and with the size difference, and it seems to be a similar type of study, maybe not as in-depth, but the Little Red Schoolhouse is estimated to be half the cost of this almost. Just that was my initial hesitation on Little Red Schoolhouse. I just find it interesting.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Richards.
I just want to echo Mr. Malaguti's sentiments that it is a landmark in Plymouth that is, I think, near and dear to those of us who have lived here for a long time. I think my graduating class was the first one to graduate in Memorial Hall, and hopefully last. But yeah, it's a very, I've been to many, many concerts there. It's a wonderful venue, it's a wonderful place, and I look forward to it staying there for a long time. Thank you.
Mr. Dunn.
Thank you. I agree with Mr. Richards. I also want to say you definitely weren't the last class because I also graduated in Memorial Hall. But I think it's definitely important to get an idea of what we're looking at and whether we're talking about structural issues or just cosmetics, how much it would be to rehab and kind of what position we're in before we move forward. So I'm going to support this.
Any other comments? Well, I have a couple of comments to offer. One, there's already been some money spent with the consultant to understand the current facilities condition at Memorial Hall. And if the decision is to rehabilitate what's there, renovate what's there, the ranges are fairly significant in terms of what we've seen on the building committee so far, from anywhere between 20 or 40 million. Just for the structural work alone, I think it's approaching, $7 to $10 million. And if the decision is to keep Memorial Hall, I believe in the scope of work for that designer should be the task of assessing the historic parts of the building. And if there is a decision to demolish it and construct something new, I believe that the appropriate place for this historic study is in the scope of work for that option. And my concern is we will spend $96,000 and only to have to pay for it again because it might be a different designer, a different architect, a different consultant that wouldn't be doing those in the part of the scope. So that's my fear about this. With that, is there any other discussion among the committee? All right, well, hearing and seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Reluctantly, I'm voting yes.
All right, Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renaud?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi? All right, it's 14-4, 0 opposed, none abstained. Thank you. All right, on to Lynn's favorite article for tonight, Article 22. Is that you, Lynn? Rescind borrowing? All right, sorry, Mr. Bradley.
Article 22 is to rescind borrowing authorization. Article 9B of the 2022 Fall Annual Town Meeting for the Spire Center and Rehabilitation Project had money appropriated. And at this point in time, there's $100,000 that the project is done and was $100,000 left over. And we would like to rescind the borrowing on that project.
All
to
right, I
reflect
failed to read the article, so it's Article 22, rescind borrowing authorization to see if the town will vote to rescind the remaining borrowing authority on Article 9B of the Fall 22 Fall Town Meeting for the Spire Center Restoration and Rehabilitation Project, or take any other actions thereto. Are there any questions from Mr. Bradley? Yes, Mr. Malaguti.
Just a quick one, and it's the money that's being rescinded, which part is it going back into? Is it going back into just the, one of the restricted or just the general 70% one?
I believe, Lynn will explain it, but I believe it was authorization to borrow, and we won't be borrowing it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
There was no money passing hands that has to be moved around. We're just not going to borrow it.
Very good. Any other questions from the committee? All right, hearing and seeing none. Let's see where I'm at. Mr. Renaud, would you care to move this Article 22?
So moved.
All right, and Ms. Richards, would you care to second?
Second.
All right, we have a first, we have a second. Is there any discussion among the committee? All right, hearing and seeing none. Ms. Butler, how do you vote? Yes. Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renaud.
Yes.
Ms. Richards.
Yes.
Mr. Snyder.
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins.
Yes.
Mr. Trudell.
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi. The motion carries 14 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstentions. Thank you. And then we move on to Historic Preservation Town Records, Article 23. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $35,000 from the community preservation available funds, reserve funds, fund balance, or any other available fund and/or borrow for historic preservation purposes to preserve and protect the town's permanent records, which are historic resources, based on the recommendation of the Community Preservation Committee pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 44B, or take any other action relative thereto. Mr. Bradley.
Article 23 is a historic preservation article for town records transcripts. The CPC voted unanimously, 8 in favor, none opposed, and no abstentions to move this along to fall town meeting. And it's for an appropriation of $35,000 for transcribing of the town's historically significant records dated from 1783 until 1866. Once transcribed, these files will be uploaded onto the town's digital repository, where they will be in a searchable form. This project will fill in the gaps and provide the town with a complete set of transcribed searchable records from 1636 up to present. And the proposal is to transcribe approximately 2,000 pages. It is 2,000 pages in those books from 1783 to 1886. And this particular company estimated that 2 pages would equal 1 hour work, and he proposed a rate of $30 an hour, and that's where we came up with the pricing we have.
All right, any questions from the committee for Mr. Bradler on Article 23? Anyone from the public wish to comment? Seeing and hearing none. Let's see, where am I now? Mr. Snyder, would you care to move Article 23?
I'd like to move Article 23.
All right, and Ms. Tompkins, would you care to second Article 23?
Seconded.
All right, we have a first from Mr. Snyder, a second from Ms. Tompkins. Any discussion among the committee? All right, seeing and hearing none, Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renaud?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
I'm getting tongue-tied tonight. Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi? All right, 14 yes, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. Motion carries. All right,
Thank you to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. All right, I have a couple of announcements and a little housekeeping to deal with, but first I want to go back to, I think it was last week's meeting, and during one of the votes, I asked a committee member, Mr. Malaguti, why he voted no, and he gave a reason, and then I didn't ask someone else. So first I need to acknowledge that I had misread under the Standing Rules Committee, Section 8.4, and it is only when one recuses themselves or abstains from a vote that they need to provide a reason for doing that. So it's my mistake, and I apologize to Mr. Malaguti for calling that out. Sorry about that. And it's our Section 8.4 in the Standing Rules, if you want to follow me up on that, but that was my mistake. The second announcement, or an announcement I wish to make, is that Brian Dunn has accepted, and the School Budget Subcommittee and the School Committee warmly welcome him as the liaison from A&F to the School Budget Subcommittee. And with that appointment, he will also be the chair of the A&F Budget Subcommittee this fall. And so later on at the appropriate time, we will ask for volunteers to participate in that effort. But I would say that his willingness to do this has been enthusiastically received on the school side of the house. So congratulations and my condolences.
Thank you.
I will be sending out an email in the next couple of days asking for interest in being liaisons to other committees in the town I found the list in some of the A&F documents, so I'll send you an email again. It'll be a Microsoft Forms form, and it'll just be among us. It won't be posted publicly, and we'll talk about that at an upcoming meeting. So a reminder, we have a meeting tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. We'll be hearing Article 4, and let's see, under old business, Mr. Malaguti asked a couple of 3 meetings ago about the Plymouth Housing Authority project at 16 Industrial Road and wanting to see the contract. I've learned through contracts and also through the building committee that the town is not party to the construction contract, but the town, or via CPC, did sign a funding agreement, and Ms. White circulated a copy of that contract earlier this week. And the executive summary is that the contract says that here are the funds and you can't come back to us for any more. Yes?
I'd just like to note that tomorrow night, we're also hearing Article 7 and 8.
Okay. Article 7 and 8. Thank you for correcting me and keeping me out of jail. With that, there's one last chance for public comment. And seeing none virtually or in person, I think I'm up to, is there any other discussion the committee wishes to have before we adjourn? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Trudell, would you care to motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, motion to adjourn.
All right, and Mr. Vecchi, would you care to second? All right, and with any luck, I'll remember to ask for your vote at the end of this. Ms. Butler, how do you vote?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating? Yes. Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Mr. Renat?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
And Mr. Vecchi? All right, we are adjourned at 53 past the hour. Thank you for all your active participation tonight. Great meeting.